So, very good morning, students. So, today we will move on to another unit that is on Unit 3. And under this Unit 3, we will discuss on the determination of income and employment. And under that, we have to discuss on what is aggregate demand and what are its components. So, before we move on to what is the meaning of the word aggregate demand, let us just recap ourselves. I think, students, while you were in class 11, we had somewhere in the class 11 syllabus, we did discuss on the meaning of the word demand. Okay, so this word demand, yes, it's a very familiar word in which you have very much maybe know about it. Okay, and in talking about the general meaning of the word demand, okay, that is whenever we came across this word demand, that means straight away we're talking about the desires, we're talking about the wishes. Okay, as human beings, since we're all human beings, and I think each and every one of us, we do have so many desires, we do have so many wants, we do have so many wishes. Yes, demand, in simple words, straight away, it means our desires, it means our wishes. But in economics, its meaning is a little bit wider. Okay? This word demand in economics, it does not merely mean that our desires or our wishes, okay, but the very word demand, it refers, yes, to our wants, okay, to our desires, that is backed by the willingness and capacity to pay. Okay, so yes, as human beings, like what I've been telling you, we have so many wants, we have so many desires. Okay, if you talk about you as a student, okay, because you are a human being, definitely you'll be having so many wants. Okay, you want this, you want that, so many. Okay, and all of us are like that. Okay, be it a beggar in the road also, because he is a human being, he do have so many wishes, so many desires. But this desires of yours, this desires of mine, can be constant or can be termed as a demand only if we have the the capacity to pay or the willingness to pay. Okay, that means, in simple words, your desires can be termed, can be converted into your demand if you have enough amount of money with you. Okay, suppose at this point of time it so happens like your mobile phone, okay, it got some problem. Okay, and the thing is you do really needed a new one. Got that? Okay, because nowadays without a mobile phone, we cannot, or you cannot expect to get something. It might be a notes or explanation or whatever. So at this particular point of time, you wish, you want, you desire for a mobile. Okay, so your desire for that mobile can be constant as your demand only if you have enough amount of money with you to buy that good or to buy that mobile. Okay, so this word demand in economics, it does not simply means to our desires or our wishes. Okay, but it refers, yes, to our desires, but something more. Okay, it should be backed by our willingness and the capacity to pay. And yes, in this particular unit we need to talk about what is the meaning of the word aggregate demand. Okay, in simple words, if we talk about the word aggregate, here we're talking about the total. Okay, As a student, like what I've been telling you, because you are a human being, you have so many wants, you have so many desires. Okay, for example, in a particular week, or it might be in a particular period, whatever. So if you take all of your wants together, all of your desires together, okay, for example, say you want a new pair, yes, a new mobile, you want a new pair of shoes, you want a new shirt, so many more. Okay, and after you spend your money on buying all those goods and commodities, taking them together, all your expenditures or spending, that is referred as your aggregate demand. And if we sum together the total expenditure of the people on the different goods and commodities that is being purchased by them, okay, corresponding to the different levels of income, that is referred to as the aggregate demand. So in simple words, this aggregate demand, it is the sum total, okay, of all the expenditures that people incurred, okay, on buying the different goods and commodities that they do need, given their different levels of income. And as we all know, if we talk about income, people do have different levels of income. Some, the income is very high, whereas to some the income is not that good, or it's quite low. Okay, so yes, to certain person whose income is quite high, obviously their demand will also be high. Whereas if we talk about those person whose income is quite low, definitely their expenditures or their demand will also be low. So if we add up all these, the expenditures incurred by all the people on the different goods and commodities that they want, that they do need, given their levels of income, their different levels of income, that is referred to as the aggregate demand. Furthermore, another definition in this particular subunit that we need to know, it is the aggregate demand schedule. I think you still remember what is the demand schedule, the market demand schedule, the individual demand schedule. Okay, what are all these? They are tables, or they are charts. Okay, so if you look in this particular note that I've been given it to you also, if you look at this, what is this? This can be termed it as a table. Okay, it is divided into two. That means we have, on the one side we have the level of income, on another side we have aggregate demand. So it shows the different levels of income starting from zero. That means if the income is 20, the aggregate demand is 35. If the income is this much, this is the aggregate demand. If this much is the income, this much is the aggregate demand, so on and so forth. So what is this? Yes, it is a table that shows the total expenditures of people, okay, at different levels of income. That means lower the income, low will be the aggregate demand or the aggregate expenditures or the spendings of the people, and higher the level of income, higher will be the aggregate demand or higher will be the aggregate expenditures. And what is this? It is referred to as the aggregate demand schedule. And furthermore, if we plot all these datas, all these figures that is in this particular table, that is the different levels of income, the different level of the aggregate demand, if we plot all these in the form of the diagram, what we will get, it is the aggregate demand curve. Okay, so yes, what is the aggregate demand table schedule? It is simply a table or a chart that shows the different expenditures or the aggregate demand of the people that are being demanded at different income levels. And yes, if we plot this table in the form of a diagram, we will, what we will get, we will get the aggregate demand curve.